There's one thing that you can never tire of, and that's watching flat earthers fail. Unfortunately, it's one of the most common things you can find on the internet. Welcome to Flat Earth Fail Compilation 38. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a huge thank you to the sponsors of today's video, CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream is the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, and the Disney Plus for the scientist in all of us. They have thousands of entertaining movies and TV shows on topics such as history, nature, science, food, technology, travel, and more. It really is smart TV for your smart tea, packed full of award-winning exclusives and originals, featuring 35 collections of curated programs hand-picked by their experts, available for streaming to any device for viewing anytime, anywhere. I've started watching the brilliant series Life at the Limits, which focuses on how animals live at the limits of nature, the wettest and driest, hottest and coldest, and highest and lowest. Fascinating stuff, it really is. So click the link in the description and use my code SIMANDAN to sign up for just $14.99 for the entire year. Right, back to today's video, which, as I mentioned at the start, is another Flat Earth Fail compilation. Episode 38 no less, and we start with, yep, you've guessed it, our old friend Level Earth Observer. He has taken it on himself to take a look at the brand new images from the fantastic James Webb Telescope. Of course he has. Away we go.
Now we're going to go to something even more ridiculous. This James Webb Telescope's first colour image photography that has come back. $10 billion this space telescope cost, and this is what everyone's singing and dancing about today. This historic day, its first colour image has come back, showing all these galaxies.
Yes, it truly is a wonderful image. In particular, I was very excited about the sheer amount of gravitational lensing going on. Wonderful observational proof of gravity.
And then we zoom out and we come to this shot, the money shot. Same old tosh we saw with Hubble. We know any real observations of the sky are done via aircraft that have telescopes in them, Sophia being one of them.
Yes, this does exist, but Sophia is an infrared telescope. The James Webb Telescope can look at things using several wavelengths of light, but these visual light images are best gained without any atmosphere in the way.
But this tosh is just computer generated imagery, CGI, to get people, again, to go along with the fantasy.
It's such a lazy response now, isn't it? CGI here, CGI there, without any proof to show how you think it's computer generated.
It walks hand in hand with all the other tosh that we're told. No one doubts the lights in the sky. We're paying $10 million to have a space telescope in an environment that's scientifically impossible. You're already talking about a fraud. And then you get the imagery back. It's a joke. It's actually mockery. Now, it would be funny, and I do laugh at space, because it's the only way to treat it, is to mock it and laugh it. But this is costing billions and billions, and will continue to cost many more millions and millions for as long as people allow this charade to continue.
So the telescope and the images that they produce are fake, but the amount they say it costs to build is real. You trust that it's costing billions, but not the fact that the actual object exists itself. Funny that.
Remember, millions and millions are suffering, and will continue to do so for as long as we accept this globe bullshit and this space propaganda pantomime that is force-fed and lapped up by naive globe believers.
NASA employs over 300,000 people. Now that is a huge economic pull for a company which you claim is worthless.
Needs to end. It's silly. Millions and millions for this tosh. A sun that doesn't move with China space station. And that's tame compared to what they've shown us and what I've shown on this channel. But come on. This is silly, guys. You really need, if you still believe in and defending this tosh, with no demonstrable science whatsoever for the globe, the only thing that can be cited is space pantomime and CGI. at a cost of millions or billions and billions. It's ridiculous. And think of the amount of suffering that goes on as a result of entertaining, supporting, going along with this tosh.
There is suffering all over the world. Why do anything nice? Why go out for dinner? Why take the kids to the cinema? You can't blame NASA for the suffering that's going on. Otherwise you have to blame everything else that also doesn't help with the suffering. Right, moving on, we once again have Level Earth Observer. This time he's having a pop at China's mission to Mars.
Today we get to see an historical moment from space caught on film live as the action unfolded. China essentially have got a 1990s computer graphic spacecraft to land on what seems to be a still image of Mars. Incredible stuff. We join the action as this was filmed live as the action unfolded in the control room. So let's have a look.
Right, now obviously that's just a computer graphic to show what's going on in real time. Anyone can see that. And I don't think anyone would suggest otherwise.
I might need to translate here. I've got very basic understanding, so you might have to bear with me. At 3:33 p.m, the 1990s computer-generated spacecraft landed on the still image of the Martian surface. If you know what's good for you, you better clap now.
Does Leo think that we all believe this is a real video?
And I believe these two are the guys who worked on the computer-generated spacecraft and have done so for the last 26 years. Hence its retro 1990s look. But as you can see, all their hard work has paid off. And as you can imagine, these two guys are quite emotional. Oh, it makes me feel proud. I puff out my chest that I could be part of that pantomime. Incredible stuff. As essentially a 1990s computer graphic has landed on what appears to be a still image of the moon. Incredible.
Wow, I don't think I need to say much more here. I think you've exposed yourself fully, Elio, on this one. Right, next up is Flat Earth Prince, Mr. Eric Dubay, and he's having a go at explaining how the moon looks different from different hemispheres on a flat Earth. Should be interesting, this one.
Globe defenders often claim that since the moon appears right side up when viewed from the northern hemisphere, and upside down when viewed from the southern hemisphere, that this is proof positive of a spherical Earth.
Well, yes, being in the southern hemisphere means that your perspective has changed, and therefore you'd view the moon almost upside down as you would have in the northern hemisphere.
They believe that observers standing in the southern hemisphere of their spinning ball are literally upside down relative to observers in the north, and that this is the only possible reason the moon could appear inverted when viewed from opposite hemispheres.
Well, it's a logical explanation and it's actually what happens.
Anyone can easily debunk this flimsy claim for themselves, however, by simply taping a picture of the moon to their ceiling and viewing it from opposite sides of the room. The moon will appear right side up when viewed from one end of the room, and upside down when viewed from the other. There is no need for the entire room to be spherical, nor for observers to be standing physically upside down relative to one another to explain this simple phenomenon.
Ah yes, Eric, but the version of Flat Earth which you believe in has a moon circling above you. This means that you're always seeing the moon from at least two different perspectives. Your explanation here debunks that model.
On the Flat Earth model, the moon as well as the sun are always located somewhere between the tropics, spending the majority of their time on or near the equator. So just like the picture taped in the middle of the room, people viewing from the north will see the moon appearing right side up, while people viewing from the south will see it appearing upside down.
And what about all the people who are directly below the moon in your model here, who will see one side of the moon as it's approaching them and a different side of the moon when it's moving away from them? As I said, debunked.
This phenomenon is therefore easily explainable, regardless of whether the observers are assumed to be standing upside down on a ridiculous spinning ball, or right side up on a logical level plane.
Except it doesn't work for everyone on your flat Earth.
Deeper investigation into the matter, however, reveals details that definitively determine which one it is. It turns out globe defenders are oversimplifying the reality of the situation when claiming the moon appears inverted in opposite hemispheres, because depending where and when you are viewing from, it is actually possible to see the moon at any 360 degrees of inclination. As you can see in the following photographs, the moon does not simply appear either right side up or upside down, but rather appears at all different angles. This is because the moon actually travels over and around the flat Earth like a wheel, making approximately one rotation per revolution.
No, it's because you view it from different declinations on Earth, and it's always the same angle in the same location. Your explanation would mean that the moon's angle would change at the same location, which it doesn't.
So depending where and when the moon is photographed, you will notice the rabbit or the man on the moon at many various inclinations. What you will not see, however, which you would most certainly have to see if the Earth and moon were both spheres, is different faces and areas on the moon. In the heliocentric model, they claim the moon is tidally locked to Earth, which means that Earth's gravity is supposedly so strong that it causes the moon to perfectly synchronize its period of rotation around its axis with that of the Earth's, so that we only ever see one face of the moon. Now, even if this was true, and the spinning spherical moon somehow perfectly synchronized its rotation with that of the spinning spherical Earth, observers viewing the moon from the high northern latitudes, observers viewing from the high southern latitudes, and observers viewing from near the equator should and would necessarily have to see at least slightly different faces and areas of the moon.
No, we shouldn't, because the moon is very, very, very far away. And we do actually see slightly different faces of the moon due to our elliptical orbit here on Earth.
It is simply not possible that observers viewing from such different angles could all still only see the exact same face.
When you are that far away, of course it is.
Observers viewing the moon from high northern latitudes would have to see a very different face from observers viewing from the high southern latitudes, and a slightly different face from observers viewing from near the equator. In reality, however, no matter where and when you look, you will only ever see the exact same face of the moon, albeit at various inclinations.
Yes, because we're so far away from it. It's not that hard to see, Eric. I've had enough of him today. So let's move on to our final video today, which comes from a Richard Armbrister. Here we go.
Here is proof that the world is actually flat, and that we are contained within an ice wall. Even though they don't want to admit it, and people feel like you're crazy for saying it, this is proof. This is Google Earth. Let's take a look. So we have Greenland. Let's go around, completely around in a circle. Completely around a circle. We have Russia, Afghanistan, basically Asia. And then we have Greenland, Iceland. We have Canada, United States. Then we have Asia.
Yes, that's sort of what happens on a globe, isn't it?
And then we have Greenland. Hold on. Iceland, Canada, United States, Asia, Greenland. Okay, that's the top. So let's go down to the bottom. The bottom of the map, we have Africa, Australia, Argentina, Africa, Australia, Argentina, Africa. The bottom, which is Antarctica.
Is he basically going to cycle through a Mercator map and then just say it doesn't work?
Where does Antarctica end? Where does it start? Where does Antarctica end and where does Antarctica start? We have only circumnavigated, I lied. Yeah, we've circumnavigated the world east to west, but north to south. Okay, what is on the other side of the world? Like, we could go around from east to west. Why can't we go around from north to south? Why do we get stop here at Greenland and stop here at Iceland if the world is indeed a circle?
Because this is a Mercator projection map. It's designed to put a 3D surface onto a 2D surface and make it sort of look okay. It's not the real Earth, is it?
And we can circumnavigate and go straight around. We get Americas, Asia and Africa, and back to America. We have two landmass, basically, big landmass, Asia and America.
I love how he's inadvertently revealing his location with this video. I see he's from the Caribbean. Don't know many flat earthers from the Caribbean, to be fair.
Or Africa, as they call Asia, Africa, because all those connected. And America. Greenland is up here at the top. And Antarctica is at the bottom. You'll have to be an idiot to not. They're so smart, you only could zoom in so far. Not zoom in, you only could zoom out so far. So you can't really see it in one picture, but the world is flat.
Well, if you want to zoom out more, then Google Earth will actually become a globe. Not that hard. But let me guess, you don't believe that version, just a flat Mercator version.
Sorry to, burst you guys' bubble. The world is flat. It don't take rocket science for you to just perceive this. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward.
Well, there we go, everyone. The guy has proven flat Earth with nothing more than the Mercator projection of Google Earth. Incredible. Well, after that colossal fail, I think it's time we wrap up today's video. Yes, we are all done and dusted for another Flat Earth Friday and another Flat Earth Fail compilation. I cannot believe we're at 38 episodes. Thank you so much for watching. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it today, please do hit the like button. There's a playlist for all the 37 compilation videos that have come before. Go back to number 1. It's still my favourite after all these years. Check it out all the way through. And of course, subscribe as well if the feeling takes you. We're almost at 450,000. We're 50,000 away from 500,000. We will get there. Just enough time to once again thank CuriosityStream for sponsoring today's video. Remember, click that link in the description. Use my code SIMANDAN and you can get CuriosityStream for just $14.99 for the entire year. I've been SIMANDAN. Have yourselves a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow for another Misconception Mini. See you then.